Okay, Paul, come here. Right. Do you remember on the river I did it's all on the video that you saw. Do you remember I talked about 4 fundamentals? Can you remember them? Okay. Name one then. Connectivity is one. Leaning forwards and backwards is linked to your body, which is posture, isn't it? And trim. Okay, trim is also linked to how you fit a boat and how the boat fits in the water. So Panos, if you look at how Paul is sitting in that boat, you can see how where the water is lying on the boat. It's not deep in the water, is it? So that's part of trim, linked to whether or not you got the appropriate boat. But it's also posture is linked to trim, where you're either leaning forward. If you're leaning forward, what move are you making there when you're leaning forward? You're at Jackfields. Yeah, you're going forward, and you know that in the middle of Jackfields there's a big hole, isn't there? So when you're going into that big hole at Jackfields, you're leaning into it. What's the reason for leaning into it? It is powerful, but what does it do to your posture and your balance of the boat? Does it improve it or does it not? If you're leaning back and going into the hole, is that a better position? Yeah. Well, you lose control, but if you're leaning forward into the hole like that, you've got much better balance and control of the boat.
Like on a bicycle?
Yeah, on a bicycle. If you're on a bicycle and you're going into that, you're leaning forward, aren't you? But if you're going over a hump like that, are you leaning forward or? Yeah, you're leaning backwards, aren't you? Now it's the same principle. So if you were, say, going over a rock, you're leaning back like this because you lift. What happens to the boat? What happens to the front of the boat if you're leaning back? It goes up in the air, doesn't it? Yeah? So if you wanted to mount this, you're going to lift your boat, you're going to lean back and try and lift your boat up, aren't you? Right, so that is posterior, because it's the way you're moving the body around in relation to the boat, in relation more to the boat than the paddle itself. Okay, and the trim part of it, are you sitting comfortable, you know, is it balanced in the water, the boat, or backwards or forwards? So you're using your posture to in relation to the boat to give it sort of a control of the boat itself, so you don't capsize. You talked about connectivity. So Panos, how is your body connected to this boat? There's 6 points.
My feet.
Yeah.
In the front.
2.
My knees.
Yeah.
My back.
It's not your back. What's that?
Hips.
Yeah, you call it the cheeks of your bum or whatever. All right, there. Okay. So how do you transfer power into your paddle? Right. So your starting point, if you're going to put your paddle into your left, into the left here, is you start from this side, and then it's transferred into your foot because you're putting pressure into your foot, and before you put the paddle in the water. So the power transfer goes from there to there, then to the paddle. Right, okay. Looking at my paddle, I'm stabbing a fish. Right, look at what's my bottom arm doing? What's the bottom arm doing? It's straight, and it's like a stab. This is stabbing the fish like that. Okay. Now, if this is my boat, all right, what happens with the paddle? Yeah. But if it's a stab here, like that, what happens to the paddle blade as it going along the boat? Right, I'm stabbing it. That's the angle, isn't it? Right. Then I'm drawing the paddle to my hip, aren't I? But what is that? What does the paddle do? What position is the paddle? From an angle like that, what happens when it comes in like this? Yeah. Okay. And it comes out of the hip. Why does it come out of the hip? You can form a rudder if need be, but it's only. What would you form a rudder like this for? Why would you form a rudder? What does the rudder do? It's steering, isn't it? Right, so when you're steering, it's either the paddle goes like that, or it goes like that. We'll come to steering later, but the most efficient paddle is to take it out from here. And then, if you look at your boat at the front, you don't extend it too much. Here it may be round about where those nuts are there, or where this is, the rivets are there. And with yours it might be on the P there. Okay. That's power transfer. Then we've got posture, power transfer, connectivity, and the final one is feel. So we'll go back to that activity of paddling with your eyes closed, and you have to feel your boat, you have to feel the paddle, and you have to feel your body, and that will determine. You're going to tell me when you're paddling along the slide whether or not you're going in a straight line. So you have to get those three things and use your other senses because you're blind. Okay.
For example, the moment that I'm feeling my feet,
So you haven't altered this, have you? Right, so that's the whole point of the connectivity. In the future, you need to alter, because you had this boat last week. So you've got, I mean, Paul, you've set up now inside your boat. You have to set up inside your boat. That's the important thing. Otherwise, your connectivity is not as efficient as it should be. Right, what I want you to do, the emphasis on practicing now, going around here, okay, is to see, to paddle, a short paddle stroke, and to make sure you're stabbing here, but you straighten it up down here, and then you lift it up to switch over to the other side, and there. So what you're concentrating on is doing a short paddle stroke, but getting the stabbing motion in, and the power transfer, and as I said, straightening up the paddle as you're going down the boat. Also, yeah, do that first, and then we'll see how well you're doing. Okay.
so is it better many small or less bigger strokes?
Well, if it's a more small, well, we'll explore about that. All right. So it's the upright. Yeah. Where are you going to work though? In that opposite corner? I can use the length then, you see. Right, paddle down this way now, Paul.
I think I get it now. Big stroke. Turn the boat well. So this regular
Right. Okay. So paddle the length. Slightly slow down your stroke. You're paddling too strong. And don't forget, use your feet like a bicycle. From one side like this to the other. So slow it down. So Paul, when your feet are on the pedals, right, like riding the bike, do you think that one side is stronger than the other on the pedal? Or one of your paddle stroke sides is stronger than the other? Go and paddle again and have a think about that one. Is one side, your right side or your left side, stronger than the other? Okay. So if your right side is stronger than your left side, what will it do? What do you have to do if the right side is stronger than the left side? Paddle again and work that one out. Right, Panos, got more control over your boat now, but what I want you to do, if you come here, try and get your paddle more upright like that, because at the moment, I mean, I'm guilty of doing it, it's down here, and your lower arm is not straight. Alright, so try and manage that. Okay. The other thing is, when you're holding where do you hold your blade, your paddle blade? Where do you put your hands? I think you corrected it. Initially, your left hand was where?
Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's okay now, but where was your left hand before? Okay. So how did you correct it? Yeah, that's right. Okay. So you've compensated by either putting possibly a little bit of a rudder or stop stroke in there to get it back in. Right. Okay. So what I want you to do is put less pressure on the right foot to compensate with the power on the left foot. So it's just a light touching of your feet. And you don't need such a powerful stroke really, a powerful foot movement in here, because the water's light, isn't it? It's not like being on the river, is it? So you can slow it down and just slightly touch your feet on the foot pedal. All right. And it's a bit more upright. As soon as you stab it, bring it upright so it's straight here. But you don't need to go too fast. Just gently put the paddle in the water. Slow it down.